What? Vas-y, c'est parti.
10,
The shock,
9,
the shock,
ignition
the shock,
sequence
the shock.
start.
Okay, okay.
Hi, Susie.
Hi, Jeff. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
We got some rain.
Yeah, I noticed it sprinkled a little bit here. Did you get a lot of rain out your way?
Not a lot, but it was enough to, the ground was wet. I was thankful for that because we haven't had rain
Yeah,
since, I think, this time last year. It's like
right. Yeah,
a record.
it's
So
been a long time.
the weather app didn't lie today. It was on point. So that's good.
Yeah, yeah. So
Well,
Mindy should be coming on here in a few
yep.
minutes.
We were asking me about activity. Definitely activity is up. Um, Rates are still annoyingly consistent. They did
Yeah,
pop up a little bit, but now they've hit kind of a sticking level. I wouldn't believe that they would go up from here, only down. So that's what I'm going with. But it doesn't seem to be stopping people from doing what they know they need to do and not putting life on hold because of a rate. Obviously, you need to qualify, be comfortable with your payment and all of that, which most are. I know it's not where we want them to be, but you need to stay focused on the home itself because, like I keep saying, if you decide to purchase when everyone else does at the same time, it's not going to be a good experience.
right.
You'll be
Yeah,
lucky to pay more for the home. Lucky to pay more for it. You're not going to get it for what you can get it now.
yeah,
So that's what you're deciding to do to save, I don't know, $500 a month in a payment maybe. If you decided to do this in 6 months, depending on how much more that home is, you're probably going to lose.
right. There's going to be more competition, definitely.
Yeah. And prices will go up.
Yeah,
So, um, yeah. And of course, our builder partner sellers are doing 2-1 buy downs, which really help soften the blow when you're getting people down into the fours, even the threes on a 2 or a 3
yeah,
2 1 buy down. I mean, if that's your excuse, that excuse is gone. So you had a rate at 3.99 or 4.25 for the first year, second year a point higher. The likelihood of being able to refinance into something close, can't promise, is pretty good in the next couple of
yeah,
years. So again, everybody has their own way of looking at things and their comfort level. And of course, people say, well, nobody can guarantee that. Well, no one can guarantee anything, but you got to put that out into the universe.
right.
So, you know,
And then get your loan application in and qualified and be ready to jump
yep,
when
yep, at least
the
that.
rates go down just a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, they will. It's just, you know,
yeah,
not fun waiting for things sometimes.
right.
Have you seen activity go up?
I mean, I've seen listing activity up. I just listed a house about a week ago. So
Good.
I had an open house over the weekend. There was 3 people through. I mean, as we get close to the end of the month and the Super Bowl, I know things, you know, seasonally pick up
Yeah,
regardless.
the open will help too with that, but a lot of people
Yeah,
are, in town, maybe they'll take some free time to do that, but there's still a lot of
right.
people here that already live here that are doing their thing and don't care about the open. Um,
Yeah,
you know, so either way, but it's good to see. I know 2025 will definitely be, it'll be a different year. I don't know exactly what I mean by different. I think different better,
right.
different in in the way of, just, um, I do think rates, but it's going to get interesting, like I said, if there's this frenzy of, buyers, that have been sitting on the fence because the percentage is very high of people who are on the fence only because of rate.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that is a number that should be staring everybody in the face because the number is significant. And again, if you just took a portion of those folks and did the math there against our inventory,
Yeah.
you don't need
Very
to be
true.
a genius to figure out what's going to happen. So,
Right.
but anyway, we'll see. A lot of exciting things, a lot of growth
Yeah.
still. It's good to see different parts of the valley growing, and with whether it's, shopping, restaurants, whatever, commercial.
Yeah. There is a lot of growth, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I don't know where our guest is.
I am not sure either.
Yeah. Well, we're doing our thing. It's okay.
That's right.
Where's your new listing?
It's in Gilbert in the Islands, so it's Elliott and McQueen, between Cooper and McQueen.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gilbert's grown like crazy. The Chandler, I mean, everywhere has.
Right,
Everything
yeah.
in the immediate valley of the sun, if you will, has really, and it just doesn't stop. Even I was out to Cave Creek a couple times recently, and although it is growing, they do still maintain its integrity. So it still looks the same. You just
Right.
notice a little bit more in certain pockets that maybe were empty before, but they've really, the things that are new really blend in well. They look like they've been there for years. So it's really neat what they've done and how they've
Yeah.
kept it. If you hadn't gone for 10 years, you go back and you're like, yeah, it looks the same. There's some things that are better, but you don't want it to look different, especially something
Right.
like Cave Creek because it has its own. You don't want to turn
Yeah.
it into Old Town Scottsdale, of course, or turn it into something that it isn't. So
Yeah, I remember going out there, and it's probably been at least 10 years. For my son was playing some club baseball, and we dropped him off, and then we were just looking to grab some breakfast food, and not knowing that area that well. I mean, it's because the signage is so discreet,
yeah,
things are harder to find. But I
yeah,
like that, Yeah,
yeah,
that's the
it
charm.
is. There's a lot going up there on the weekends, and the country bars are always full. And I mean, it was crazy up there about a month ago at night at Harold's and the other
Yeah,
one. It's a lot of
buffalo
fun.
chip, and yeah,
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. So that's good. But yeah, it's happening everywhere. I mean, even at Fashion Square Mall. I mean, you still have one, two, three more restaurants coming in just right by the ballet area. That Elefante just opened up with it, which everyone
I lost
seems to
your
love.
audio.
What's that? What's that?
Let me see.
Is your audio not working? Well, we're still waiting.
I'm trying to change, but
What are you trying to do?
let's see. Let me take this out.
I can hear you okay. Now you're just frozen. And now I'm by myself. I could just talk to myself.
Can you
I
hear
do that a
Can
lot.
you hear me now?
I can. I was just talking to
Okay.
myself. I was saying that
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I just took my AirPod out, so can you hear me okay this way?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah. I can. There's a little bit of a fuzz in the background, but I can hear you all right.
Okay.
Well, not sure what happened to our guest. She's missing out. This is,
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so got spouse need house. We're working with brides, and we typically go to bridal expos and getting our name out to them. But if the bride or groom uses us within a certain time period, then they're gonna get 10% credit of the buyer's agent's commission to go towards their, as a credit when they purchase. So that's a great deal for brides and grooms.
It is. Well, and the title company, WFG, is giving discounts as well. We're covering the cost of an appraisal, which is a true bona fide cost that people need to do to have the home appraised. So, it all, at the end of the day, it all adds up, whether it's buying a home, anything where you can save something, again, can end up being a pretty big number. So it's definitely worth,
Every little bit helps.
it does.
Yeah,
It's definitely worth paying attention and, getting those benefits where you can, for sure,
right.
So, and it's appreciated for sure, especially with all the other costs alone with wedding and everything.
Right, yeah.
It can really make a big difference. So yeah, so that's good. What else are you seeing in the market that's different? Anything at all? Like, I know we're in 2025. Not that anything changes overnight, but it does feel like activity has changed overnight, which is good. Again, the growth is unstoppable. It's really overwhelming, especially someone like me that's lived here my whole life, to remember what things looked like or didn't look like because they weren't there.
Right.
Is pretty neat. You can share the story with people that aren't from here and why they should purchase, and why they should purchase. And if they ask you, if they tell you, this is what we're into, this is what we like, this is what we want to be close to, it gives you the opportunity to be a concierge and say, well, this is where we have a lot of restaurants, this is where we have a lot of, whatever entertainment they're into, or hiking, or whatever it is. Everything seems to be pretty close. It doesn't take you very long to get from one side of town to the other, depending on the day. But with all the new freeways and now the 101, it's unfortunately not done up by the open. That's going to be a real
Right.
treat next week because it's already
Yeah.
difficult up there. So you're going to have to really think about
Plan ahead.
alternate routes. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that they thought it was gonna get done and it's not. So, but for next year, it'll be great and moving forward, just like they did with the 17 and everything else, the 303, all of these freeways that we have over the years now have made it very simple to get from A to B. So that's good too. Again, just a lot of growth.
right, yeah.
you know.
Yeah, no, I am seeing more listings with the new year. There's new listings coming on the market daily, so that's been a good increase in inventory, so people have more options for what they're looking for.
It is. I mean, it's easy to allow yourself to get discouraged, especially when you listen to other people who are not doing anything or just talking about doing something. You just have to, it's just really just paying attention and honestly just even get in your car, drive around, like look around, figure out what you want to do, focus on your next steps in your life and try not to put it on hold, because I don't know, everyone else is doing it or because of rate or because of, it's not I don't think it's the best thing to do, but we all have our own take on
Yeah.
what you want your life to be and where you're at. Everybody has a different story. But it is exciting to live here. The growth is unstoppable. The cost of living is still very low. The weather's, well, we have wonderful weather. It has been very warm. We haven't had, as we discussed before, we haven't had a lot of rain other than today, and it's not really a lot of rain. But it's something, so I'll take it. Um, but it's, it's clean, and there's still a lot of a lot of new areas and a lot of historic areas that are just completely going through, as we know, this transformation, and it's pretty cool to see. Just I don't know, just figure out where you want to be, and it doesn't have to be just regarding buying a home, you know.
Right,
So,
yeah.
but there is a lot to do, and it's not going to stop. So you want to be sure that you're part of that, especially in that immediate area, before everybody else does. You're just going to end up either being frustrated or having to get something that you're not quite in love with when you could have before, and getting something that you're not that in love with, and again having to pay more for it. So,
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember that when you're going to buy, I mean, this isn't, especially if you're a first time buyer, it's not necessarily your forever home. It's just
right.
a step, and then you can be in that for a while and then move up to the next. So it's a stepping stone.
It is, and you never know where that's gonna take you as well. Just how life is.
Right.
But certainly a lot of options. Certainly still a lot of growth. Even a lot of our builder partners that are building in all parts of the valley. Um, everything is moving. Some at a faster pace than others, but there really are a lot of options, and there's still a lot of wonderful homes with our builder partners that are available. A lot, a lot of them that were even a week or two ago that are no longer. I think that people realize the window is closing soon enough.
Right.
To where the experience, and it's all about the experience too. You don't want it to be frustrating, but the experience of just being able to not have the anxiety of walking into an open house and it's full of people, and you already know there's going to be 5 offers or 7 offers, and now you've got to figure out the plan and who you're going to try to beat, and it's just that's fine, but if you don't have to do that, it's better.
Yeah.
So, but still a lot of really neat communities there. A lot of homes that have been remodeled. You move in and you're done. And there's even still quite a bit that, surprisingly, even in areas where there's been a lot of homes remodeled, there's still a lot of opportunities. We have clients that are buying a home or making an offer on a home in Chandler, and if they get it at the price that they are, it's going to be significantly good for them. But the amount of value that's already in it that would be at closing, and then of course with about I'd say $500,000 into it,
Yeah.
it's going to be exceptional. But not everybody wants to go through the process of it can be challenging.
Right.
I've personally
Yeah.
done it living in the home. It doesn't bother me as much, but it's the dust that gets everywhere. I think that is the big thing, and of course it's difficult when you have workers coming in and out of your home all the time, and kids, and it's one of those things. But a lot of people, there's a thrill with that, and they know that the end result is going to be something exceptional, and they're going to be proud of what they've done, and of course the value in all of that too. But it's still surprising how many homes and opportunities there still are. It's not I don't think a ton of them, but they're definitely out there. So it's
Yeah.
still a great time.
Well, in that way, I mean, if you're up for that challenge of doing some updating and stuff, I mean, you can make it your own the way you want it. So that's the bonus to that.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people too want to do it. They don't know where to start. They don't have someone that's making it make sense, or they have no idea, and so they don't. It's just something new for them. When I did it, I just kind of learned as I went, and I said, this is what I'm thinking. And I fortunately had someone through our builder partners that had recommended his team, and they came over and said, what are you thinking? And said, well, this is what I want to do. And I said, all right, well, we can do that. And you just create with them, and it all comes together. But if you don't have that person, and you don't
Right.
have anyone or have the person that's going to make sure that it's done correctly or done well, that can be a stumbling block as well, because you will also hear stories about, middle of the job, they disappear, or things aren't done correctly, and there's always a risk to that. But building, being able to choose someone in your network, or someone that you've worked with, that you trust, that they trust, that, that's a perfect scenario. And I had that, so I was very fortunate and was able to create and design things, and they just put it all together. So it is fun. You just, like anything else, you have to have the right team, and they have to show up, and they have to communicate, and
Yeah.
you need to be mindful of all those things. Like anything else, you're all one big team at the time, just like you and I are a team, and you're a team with your client, you're a team with your title company, that's what it's all about. So but yeah, a lot of opportunities.
Yeah,
Just
and
depends
then
if
the
you wanna do
result
it.
is worth it, yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Then you can enjoy it.
absolutely. So, well, I don't know. I think our guest maybe got lost. Maybe they're driving around.
Yeah.
You
That
know?
could be.
Could be. Could be. So, well, I don't know if you don't have any lending or life questions for me. That could be fun. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, we've talked about a few.
we did. We
Um,
did.
so if somebody asked you about your thoughts on rates and where they're going, or, I mean, I've heard a couple different things. I think
I'd have to
kind of
I'd have to
quiet.
believe that they're a little higher than they really should be right now. I don't know by how much, or where that's all balancing out in my mind. Just maybe of all the things that I do listen to and you pay attention to, and you try to come up with your own assessment of it. I mean, there's very intelligent people that this is, what they do, and obviously things that make sense and do play a role as to why the rates are doing what they're doing. But I just think, speaking with people, that a lot of the numbers don't seem accurate, whether it's the job numbers or this or that, and then you have to revise them, and so they weren't correct. So then rates were higher, and they shouldn't have been, because the numbers weren't correct. And so I think a lot of people lost a little bit of trust in the accuracy of some of the numbers, the actual numbers. Hopefully that's
Right.
balancing out, but I definitely feel that I would say, due for maybe a slight, either two things: correction, along with rates just coming down. How much, I don't know. We did see them duck right below 6%, I believe, a couple months ago. The FHA VA rates were, gosh, I think in the mid fives again, and it didn't last very long. But during that time, the surge of activity was incredible. So it gave you a little taste of, like, hey, this is this happened just like that, because of just this much decrease in rate, but then they shot back up a point. So it
Right.
eased back. But you did get a taste of what that's going to feel like. And we did have clients that were pre-qual that said, we went in this home last week, there wasn't anybody there. We went back, and there were 7 offers. So
Yeah.
that's a baby version of, I think, is what's going to happen. So if you remember that, that might help you move along. But as far as rates, I do believe that we should see them come down, at least maybe to that level this year that I just said. I don't think that's really asking a lot, since we're already there. But who knows? Again, you do the best with what you can do every single day. Obviously you you can be mindful of it and put that out to the universe. But that nobody can control. Just control the things that you can. Because if you do
Right.
that and everything else is moving along, everything seems to fall in line with that. Usually. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
And
we'll
I think
see.
that's why it's important for prospective buyers to go ahead and get pre-qualified so they're ready with that aspect of it.
Well, it's so easy to do. Um, it really is. It's such a simple thing. At least you have that part of it completed, just in case something does come up that's like, wow, this is really an opportunity. We need to make an offer right away. Well, now you're fumbling around trying to, get this done. Again, it doesn't take very long, but you got to contact us. We got to at least get what we need. And you know what? You could miss an opportunity, even if it took 30 minutes between getting us what we need and getting the prequel out and whatever it is. A lot of these things can fly right by you, and you don't want to be at the end of that when you could have just been prepared. So that's really all it is. I know some people don't want their credit pulled because they're like, well, I don't even know if I'm buying now. What if I don't buy till later? The mortgage pull for credit is completely different than when you do for a car or revolving debt. It's a lot more subtle, so it's not damaging, especially when you have excellent credit. But we do and can do a soft pull, so it's not a hard inquiry. So there's another reason why, if that's an excuse that someone wants to throw out, kind of like the excuse of I'm not going to do anything because of the election until that's over. That
Right.
kind of excuse, that excuse is gone. So now we don't have to do a hard inquiry. All you're doing is completing an application. You're sending whatever W-2s, pay stubs, and some proof of funds to close, and you're done. Just get it out of the way. Um, but I think if people are serious about it, they will do that. But again, people can get hung up on one thing like running credit. Well, let's eliminate that. Let's do a softball. So
Softball,
you
yeah.
know, it's just there's a way to make things happen and happen without harm or risk to anything, if even that's even anything that's even possible. So but yeah,
Right.
definitely a good thing to do for sure.
Okay.
So
Well, I don't have any other lender type questions for you that I can think of at this time.
yeah, there's a lot that could be discussed. Um, there's a whole thing I could do on credit. Um, there's certain things that you need to do and not do with credit, and people don't know. And if they end up trying to do it themselves, you can actually hurt it other than helping it. So maybe I'll do something on that because it is interesting. It is very odd. It is a really odd world, the credit is. But we have a lot of success with getting derogatories off and enhancing the credit, and I have a ton of experience with that, and it's really made the difference in getting someone qualified to even buy or getting them a better interest rate. If you know that you can do something real subtle and get another eighth or a quarter better in rate just by them paying a credit card down or getting a collection off or something, then let's do that, because you've got us in your web. You're not going to pay for it. You have my expertise or a team or a company behind you. Let's get it figured out. Let's get the credit done. And it's one thing you can at least check off your list, but you also either got a loan or you got a better loan. So that's
Right.
maybe something I can talk about at a later time, of some of the things to do to always keep the credit at its best, and some things that you wouldn't think you're doing, they're actually hurting it. So anyway,
Yeah. And I
So-
think one of those things is people might cancel a credit card thinking it's going to help them when, if I understand right, that's not the case.
if you close a credit card that you have 5 years of excellent credit history on, you've now erased all that credit that you earned,
Yeah.
and it could affect the store. So you don't want to close accounts. Obviously, you want to make your payments on time. Um, you know, it's not always great to pay your balances off in full every single month because you're not scored as well. Just little things like that that you think are helping. They're not necessarily hurting. You're just not maximizing what you could be doing. It kind of, you kind of have to, you have to play its game a little bit. It may not make sense at all. Some of it doesn't, but you can't fight. You can't dispute it and fight it and wrestle with it like I do with a lot of things. I'm like, no, this is gonna work, and I'm gonna, regardless, we're gonna do this, or that doesn't make sense. I'm gonna do it this way. That doesn't, credit doesn't care about that. Credit just is, it's very, it has to be this way. I know it doesn't make sense, but if you want the points that you want, or you want the results, you have to stop, pushing and just do what it's being asked. Because some of it's not going to make any sense, but the results are
Will make sense.
great.
Yeah.
It's weird, but you have to know. Again, you could really hurt somebody by telling them to pay a collection off without negotiating for it to be deleted or removed. Because if you pay a collection, and it shows up now as a paid collection, you've now admitted guilt, and now it's on there as a paid collection. I mean, you could have had it removed.
Eliminated
Exactly. And you still have bargaining power, because you're like, look, I owe you money, fine, it was my fault, or maybe it wasn't, but I want to pay it. But can you at least delete it or remove it from the credit? Most will. Some you have to fight with, some you have to talk to a manager, supervisor, some show up there and try to talk to them. You have to sometimes really work at it, but you still have a little bit of power, because obviously they want money that's owed and you need something from them. So it's, that's how that can work. But if you pay someone, especially collector, it's a little harder to get something from somebody after you've already paid them.
Right.
What's their motivation now? They're like, well, sorry. And they'll say, oh, it's not our policy, or we don't, whatever excuse it is, when they probably could have. So just stuff like that.
So it's worth trying that, yeah.
Yep. Well,
Okay. Well, good
Anyway.
to see you.
good. Yeah, good to see you. Glad we got to talk about the weather.
Yeah.
It is exciting though. At least for me it is. But anyway. All right, well, I'm sure I'll see you soon. And I guess that's that.
Okay. Well, take care.
Yeah, you too. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.